Okay, hi everyone, Daryl here. I just completed my first semester in SUSS Law School. I'm here to do a video to explain and share my experience and my thoughts about the first semester which I just completed. Okay, so I'm actually a 1L in SUSS Law School. So if you are not familiar with the terminology, right? So 1L means a first year law student. So if you go in 1L, then if I go to second year, then I will be considered a 2L, then 3L, then 4L, and subsequently, I'm done at 4L. So when I first entered law school, I had no reference as to what to expect. So I hope that future batches can see this. It can reduce a little bit of anxiety, and you would actually know what to expect. When you first enter SUSS Law School, you have to go through 4 weeks of this thing called boot camp. Okay, so for boot camp, right, it's actually 4 Saturdays, spanning from 8 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. You have a break just before. You have a break before lunch. You have a break. You have a lunch break, and you have a break after lunch. Around just about before you go off home for the end of the day. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 breaks. Okay, but generally there's these 2 modules, right, that you go through. Hold on, I can't quite remember the name of the module, the full name of the module, but it's Law 201. So the first module is actually Law 201, Critical Thinking and Legal Interpretation. And then the second module, right, is Law 203, Legal Writing and IT Essentials. I was taught by Vice Dean, Prof. Koh, for Law 201, and I was taught by Dean, Prof. Leslie Chu, for Law 203. Okay, and so they took me for 2 lessons in Law 201 and 2 lessons for Law 203. And these are all face-to-face lessons. When you go into SUSS, I think some of the modules that you have is actually online. But for boot camp, everyone goes through face-to-face. And during boot camp, you would have to do this thing called TMAs. Okay, so TMAs is actually tutor mark assignments. So tutor mark assignments, right, when you actually have 2 on each Saturdays. So you eventually, for the whole boot camp, you actually have 8. We actually went through 2 weeks of Law 201. Then we had a break because of Chinese New Year. Then we have 2 weeks of Law 203. I think it was mentioned at previous batches, right, they had 4 weeks straight without a break at all. And you have to prepare before class. Okay, so that's something that I think I have to highlight, because there was actually an assignment, a TMA, whereby I think some did not prepare, did not do the full readings, and then they were actually handicapped because the assignment is actually about the reading. So you have to do your readings before class. You can't go to class and then expect the tutor to give you information about the reading. Okay, I was actually fortunate enough to have a very close knit study group formed pretty early. I was quite lucky to be in a learning circle. They call it a learning circle. So we actually have 3 learning circles. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm actually in learning circle 2. I actually have a very close group of about 10 odd people, whereby we do discussions every Thursday on Zoom. So we actually meet at 10 p.m. on Zoom, do our discussions, discuss about the readings, and prepare beforehand for the class on Saturday, or for future modules, prepare for or do our TMAs. Okay, so I think that when you first go into law school, it's a scary experience, especially when you go through boot camp. Personally, for myself, I have like no legal training. My first degree, I did economics in NUS. I am actually good at numbers. I'm good at accounts. I'm good at like economics, like all the principles and everything. But I don't have any legal training. The good thing about whatever skills that I have that can be applied to law school is that I like writing, I like reading, and I have always been reading things like articles from The Economist or Wall Street Journal. So I've always been reading all these just out of interest, and then somehow or another, I think it does help in helping me hone maybe a basic level of writing skill that is required for law school. But other than that, right, I think the most important thing you have to take note is that you have to really listen to instructions. the tutors are there to help us, and I really appreciate my tutors in bootcamp. I really appreciate my tutors in my other two modules as well. They are there to help you, but you have to help yourself. So you have to do your readings beforehand. Okay, if you don't do your readings beforehand, you will not be able to do your TMAs, and that is very evident from the moment you go into bootcamp. So bootcamp is 4 weeks. They call it 4 weeks of hell. I don't think it's 4 weeks of hell. I'm not saying that it's easy. It is difficult. I felt that it was difficult for me as well. But if you are very disciplined and you do your readings right, I think you will be able to go through bootcamp rather unscathed with a decent score at the end of it. Okay, so don't be too afraid, but be very, very prepared. I think that is something that I cannot stress enough. Okay, and then after bootcamp, so that's 2 modules down, right? So for first semester, you're doing 3 modules. After that, you have Law 301, which is Legal Methods and Singapore Legal System. Okay, and for this, right, I had the privilege of having Mr. Renner All as my tutor. He's somebody who is very meticulous, and he invokes a lot of discussion during the face-to-face class that I had. Like I mentioned to you, not everyone is getting face-to-face. I was fortunate enough to be in the face-to-face class. The other 2 classes, right, were online, so they actually had it over Zoom. And then I had one online module, which is SWK 107. So SWK 107 is Introduction to Social Work. Okay, so let's go back to 301 first. So 301, right, TMAs for bootcamp are actually done in campus. So in class, they'll give you a TMA, they'll give you a piece of paper with a question on it, a scenario, and then some questions. You're supposed to write and answer that question in an hour. So you have to install Microsoft Word, and then you have to have your computer synced, connected to the internet. Then you're supposed to do your research and everything, and then answer in 500 words in an hour, and then upload it as well. Okay, so you'll be a bit shocked because you're expected to read, analyze, think, and then after that construct your answer and then hand it up in an hour. So for some people, including myself, it was a rude awakening, thinking that I could take my time. That I'm the type that I don't know why, but I don't get so flustered when I do an assignment. Sometimes I don't think that's a good thing, but I should get a little bit more nervous and then start to type faster as well. I'm trying to improve on that aspect. Okay, then but for TMAs, right, in 301 and SWK 107, the TMAs are to be done at home. For 301, the TMAs are usually, the question is usually released on Monday, and then you are expected to hand it up on Sunday, which is the following Sunday. So you have a fortnight to do it. Don't do last minute work. Okay, if you already have a group of friends that you are studying together, please read all the readings and then after that come together earlier, discuss about it, so that you guys are able to construct construct an answer to your TMA early. Then don't look at it too much. Then maybe a few days later deliberate on it and then see whether you have anything to add. So personally for myself, right, when the TMA question actually comes out on Monday, I do all my readings and I try to complete it at least a week earlier. So if let's say the due date is on Sunday, right, then I will try to complete it the previous Sunday. Then I don't look at it anymore, and I do that not because I want to put it aside. If I have the time, right, I will come back to look at it. And true enough, right, for the third TMA in 301, my work in office was pretty busy. I didn't have the luxury of coming back to look at my third TMA so often. My first TMA I had the luxury. Then my second TMA, right, work started to pile up a bit. But I managed to submit my TMA early as well because I did my work early. Then the third TMA, the same thing also happened. But third TMA, my work was really busy, so I had to submit it 1 week earlier, right? And then maybe later on I made some minor changes, but I couldn't spend too much time reading through the cases over and over again. Yeah, so for 301 there are 3 TMAs, 3 PCQs. PCQs are multiple choice questions, quizzes, okay, and then you can do them at home. So you just do them at home. There are 5 questions each. You have 3 tries to try to get full marks. If on the first time you don't get full marks, you can try again, and then second time you don't get full marks, you can try again a third time. If you get full marks on the first or second try, you can still use up all 3 tries, which is what I did. I just wanted to see what are the other questions, because they are all general knowledge about law, and I think that if you're going to be a law student, right, then you should know things about the court, know things about legal history of Singapore and all this. Yeah, so these are things that will help you score and help your grades. So do prepare for your TMAs, do deliberate on your PCQs. You can discuss with your fellow coursemates, right, on your PCQs and your TMAs. You should be discussing, you should be learning to work together. Law school, I don't think is something that you can go through alone. I don't think you do well if you go through alone. I don't know. Maybe some people are just born geniuses, then they don't need help. I myself went through my first degree with a very close knit of friends, which help each other for our tutorials, and the same thing is happening in law school in SUSS. Yeah, then for SWK, I had it online, which meant that I had to log in. I think it was a Monday. The Monday class is on, if I'm not wrong, I think it's about 7 or 7:30, I can't remember. And then after the class would end about, I think 9:30 or something like that. So you had online classes. I don't really prefer online classes. I prefer face-to-face, because I think that it's easier for me to understand and to connect with the tutor in a face-to-face lesson. I enjoyed my law modules a lot more than my social work modules. It kind of shows in my grades as well. Yeah, but social work is pretty interesting because we are expected to be family and criminal lawyers. I think that social work gives us a very nice overview. SWK 107 gives us a very nice overview of the support systems and the services that are out there. They are supposed to help the vulnerable. So I think that it's an important module. Don't underestimate it. There's going to be one TMA and then one PCQ. Then there's a discussion board whereby you are expected to be engaging in discussions on certain questions and topics with your fellow course mates. Then at the end of it all, there's going to be a TOA, which is a time online assignment. The TOA, which is supposed to be an exam for 301, was supposed to be done on campus, but because of the heightened alert, because of the pandemic, we were told to do the assignment at home. So we were told to do the exam at home. On a certain time, they released the paper. We downloaded the paper. We had a certain time limit to complete the exam. I think it was 2.5 hours. And the same thing for SWK as well. So the exam actually made up 50% of the marks. So your TMA, PCQs are 50%, then your exams are 50%. So with that, right, I concluded my first semester in SUSS Law School. Those are the 4 modules that as 1Ls we will have to take. I think moving forward it should be the same. I hope that my sharing would come in helpful for future batches. I think it would be good for people who are wanting to apply into law school to learn a little bit about what our law school is all about. I and my fellow course mates and I who are working on this blog, working on this YouTube channel, we are here to share our experiences as well. So with that, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you guys.